Hello, welcome to Kapow Toys Presents. I'm your host King Grimlock, and today we are going to be looking at the Perfect Effect Shadow Demolitions unit. It is just the Shadow Warrior, repainted ever so slightly. All the red bits on the Shadow Warrior are yellow rather than red, and it also comes with a rather natty looking demolition pack, which does something, but it's quite a lot there for not much. To do very little. But the main focal interest is, of course, this guy, your Frenzy or Rumble lookalike, if you will. I think I'm not going to pull any punches, that's what he's supposed to be. But this is a Shadow edition, so he's meant to go with your Shadow Commander armour, your Nemesis Prime upgrade. You see Commander armour, but more. And he is a nice little figure. Nicely articulated all round, does everything you'd want this sort of thing to do. He is, however, tiny, absolutely tiny. To give you a rough indication of size, there he is next to one of his regular brethren, you know, the official brethren, a Generation 1 figure. Doesn't even come up to his shoulder. And to give you a more common sizing, there he is next to a Legend. Doesn't even come up to its elbow, so it is absolutely tiny. Surprisingly so as well, actually. I expected much more from it considering the price that are stuck on these guys. But what you do get, good things, small packages, all that. This guy isn't too bad. He is quite nice. The QC is a little bit shoddy in places. The ball jointed hips are a nightmare, to say the least. And for the most part, he is very nicely painted. It does have a few minor scuffs on mine where it looks like almost hand painted, some of it. And just, you almost feel like the added detail on it is just a little bit lacking. He is essentially just black and dark blue with minor highlights. He does, however, come with all the associated weaponry. This is a lovely design. I love this little extra point on it. It just makes it a more of a, I don't know, collectible display piece than a toy, adding those sort of little sharp highlights to it. These weapons do fit into their fists, but I'm not going to bother because, you know what, it's too much card work. But they do slot quite nattily into the back, and that's kind of, there we go. Adds an additional piece of height to him. He does come with a little pistol, which does, of course, probably not fit into this fist either. Which is nice enough, but is only really included as it is the handle for when he is his Target Master mode. This does, though, clip into a point on the leg, either side, I think. A little clip there, which does, or is supposed to, stay on there, but it's not very well friction fitted. And I think that's the majority of the problem with this guy, is the concept is fine, the actual doing of it isn't. I'm going to move this slightly further out so I can play around with him a bit more as we add things like the pile drivers. Now these are really nice, and I will admit he does look exceptionally poseable and, you know, accurate to design, at least when these are on him. And I can see why people went mad for the Frenzy and Rumble repaints of him, because you can. There we go. There's some QC for you, or lack thereof. Because you can get him into some exceptionally good poses, Frenzy Rumble-esque pile driving poses, which is absolutely lovely. And he does look the part. I just don't understand the point. Adding weaponry to your... I mean, it's a third-party kit for a third-party kit. And I just don't get it. Really, I'm sorry to say, I just don't get the point of it. I don't see why you would think your Target Masters... Sorry, your Shadow Commander would need a Target Master. Yes, a gigantic sword, maybe. But a Target Master. A Target Master based on Rumble and Frenzy. I don't get it. Anyway, I am going to attempt now to put him into his Target Master mode. These come off. Now, they do store in here. Now, it's not necessity for his actual Target Master mode to do so, but they do store, keep them out of the way. Means you can't lose the things, realistically. Which is a nice little touch, and they do look reasonably good with them in. It's nice to have those extra parts. These two parts then join together. Little T-clip on the top there. Not sure how well that will show up. There we go. This guy's head rotate round and fold in. Drops this little port out the bottom there. Post, sorry, not a port. Fold the feet up. Snap the legs together. Get those out of the way. Now, here we go. That way up. This is supposed to just slide gently over the shoulders. Sorry if any of this is off camera, guys. It is quite fiddly. Like so. The knees, sorry, we rotate at the waist. Legs come up, and if you see, I doubt you'll be able to make it out, but there's a tiny little port there. Posts on the bottom there, and they are supposed to just clip in. Now the big problem with this guy comes to the fact that this section isn't secure against that. It's you know, friction fitted, it's fine, but it's not secure. So when you actually put any pressure on the top of it to try and clip these bits in, that post then gets put out, and you have to rejig, rejig, rejig. And finally, you can't tell I'm not overly enjoying this review. That piece of crap. The handle goes on like so, and there he is in his gun mode, and it's a fairly impressive gun. Don't get me wrong, it looks massive, it looks great. Again though, kind of what's the point? He does add a lot to a Shadow Commander. I don't have Shadow Commander, I only have Ultra Magnus. So let's have a look at what this guy can do. We'll just take out that. Let's scale up to Magnus's head. And you can just plug the post. Yeah, you can. Maybe it's that one. Yeah. You can kind of there. There we go. But for me, you shouldn't have to fight even a third-party toy that's a display. Yeah, you kind of see what I mean. It looks the part when it's done, but it's just such faff to get it right. And the QC on this ball joint is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, you can hear how that's snapping into place. That can't be good for it. Anyway, let's get this handle back on. There we go. And it does fit also into his hand like so. So you can get a good idea of what the Shadow Commander can do with it. It looks fine, it looks great, but I question the need, I question the money required for it. And especially this thing. Let's just move him out of the way for the moment. This thing, the Shadow Pack. Now this, you unfold, and this slots on top of the vehicle mode. My camera's gone a bit screwy there, I do apologise. This slots on top of the vehicle, just clicks into place on top. You have extra headlamps on the front, and these ports on the side, which you can then plug these guys in, they fit on there as well. But its main job, I think, is actually as a backpack. Now, I'll just show you what I mean, hopefully, because this camera's about to go doolally, I fear. Swing Magnus around. Get his massive arm out of the way. And this one, you fold the two panels up, which has got rocket pods inside, really nice detailing. The sculpting on these guys are phenomenal, but they're just pointless. And the QC's average. This then slots onto his backpack, and you can then quite successfully attach the BFG, which, there we go. You know, that for me is a great idea. I would buy one of these in the right colours. As it is, I'm just going to use this because it does the job. It does what I want it to. It gives my Ultra Magnus a way of holding that gun that doesn't require him to lean forward and not be able to lift his arm up. It's, you know, he's a little back heavy. There we go. And that works really well. This, I just don't really get the point of. It adds something to a Shadow Commander. Maybe if I had a Shadow Commander I would be happier with it, but it just doesn't seem to do anything really. It looks okay as a Target Master, and it looks okay as... It looks good as a robot, it's just the QC's a bit average. But, you know, really? Is it necessary? Are you willing to spend your money on it? And I can't overly see the point in this whole Demolitions thing. I don't see the point in the backpack, save for attaching the gun. As I say, great idea. But for the money that the Perfect Effect are asking for these items, I just cannot see the point. They are high-end collectible items, and you're not going to spend the time transforming this in and out of modes to get all of these little details for it. I mean, I imagine people would pick up these Frenzy and Rumbles and display them as the robots. The pack, I can't see anybody ever using past that, because this armour isn't exactly what you would call easy to take on and off anyway. So why you would want to then swap around the pack as well is really beyond me. That said, what it does is successful, and if you do have the money to spend on a luxury item at the moment, that you could go a lot further wrong. QC problems aside, and seemingly pointlessness of the whole thing aside, I do kind of like it. I especially like that massive backpack that adds the BFG, which just makes Magnus that bit more complete, and saves me having to store the damn thing in its box. In all, though, I cannot recommend the Warrior, though I would definitely recommend the backpack. But if you've got the money to spend, there are worse things out there. iGear, anybody? Anyway, this is King Grimlock, probably being repetitious, to be honest with you, and the Shadow Demolitions team. And we will see you next time.